first reading is approved. Next up is policy 113, non-discrimination. Tara?
It is. First thing to note, it says new policy, not an update to the policy. You'll see a new recommended policy number, which is 113. That's matching WASB's recommendation policy number for this. Previously, we had policy 413 and 513, and you'll see that right there in the first paragraph. We had a separate policy for student sexual non-discrimination and one for employee sexual non-discrimination.
And they're still in effect, even with this policy.
Correct. So you'll see that these are for any allegations of sex discrimination occurring after August 1st. We're going to run our policies concurrently because if anything is before August 1st, we need to refer to policy 413 or 513. I think it's important to note that we're going to combine the student and the staff, and that it is not just students for students. It could be an employee to employee investigation. It could be student to employee or student to student. So that's why we are combining them. It does look different, similar to the policy Bonnie just had, as it's not a specific WASB or Neola policy. We looked at both, and attorneys recommended this policy that we're working from tonight. A lot of them were very long. This is very long. Part of the reason for the length is the grievance procedure, which is the procedure we follow as a district on what we would do if we receive a complaint. Important notes in this policy is the updates. The first update, and I should have gone in order, but I have my notes here, is it talks about pregnancy in this Title IX and pregnancy-related conditions. That's for students and for staff. That's new for Title IX as of August 1st. It also talks about investigations. There's a lot of different moving pieces when there's a Title IX investigation, whether it's an investigator, a decision maker, an appeal. Before, those all had to be separate parties. Now, because of a lot of smaller districts didn't have enough people to provide all of the parts for an investigation, now all of those different pieces could be the same person. So they've made it easier in terms of investigations. We've also added 2 coordinators, as you'll see in there. Myself will be specifically for students. Andrea will be for staff. So 2 separate coordinators, us working together if we have any situations on staff and student Title IX investigations. It did change training. Training is now annually, all staff. Whether you're working in the lunchroom, whether you're a crossing guard, whether you're a coach, teacher, us as administrators, we all have to have annual training on Title IX. That is in effect. The other piece does, it didn't have a definition of sex. It did include sexual orientation and gender identity for the definition of sex. If you notice in here, there's no discussion of sports. The long 1,500-page federal regulations has not made a final rule on sports yet. If you want to read that long document, around page 1,200 something, it talks about the amount of comments that they receive, and that currently the